Okay, so I have been working on this statue for a long time. Ever since this version came out, I've been working on the retro version and this bombshell version. And at the end of the video, what I'll do is I'll grab out the retro and we'll put the original outfit, the one I just took out from the video. We'll put this one in there in the retro version so you can see all three of what's going on. But I really love the bombshell designs of all the DC females, and I kind of wish that they would maybe some of these companies would get like a 1/4 scale license, or even people do some fan arts of them. But I really wanted to get the Power Girl in my collection. I did do a first version of her from the first Sideshow one, but I wanted to take another crack at it, and this is the one I've been working on. So when she came out, I think she came out like a year or two ago, I forgot when. I got like a few of these statues and I kind of just been converting them. This one I went a little bit above and beyond compared to what I've done in the past because it takes so long for me to do what I wanted to, but I'm pretty happy with the way she turned out. Now, she had the full outfit in the back, you know, so I had to take all that out and kind of rebuild some of the muscles and take out all those seams and stuff and come up with my own little design. I do know that the Power Girl Bombshell, she has the belt buckle that's kind of a little bit more of a weightlifting belt buckle. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so what I did is I went on Instagram and I went on some art pages and I went up to look like, you know, workout booty shorts, I guess you could call them. I'm not really sure, where they're not like thongs, but they're not like coming down the booty, so they're kind of around there. So I kind of came up with my own little tweaks on this version compared to what's in the comic book and what I did last time. But I'm pretty happy with it. I really love how I came out with the hair this time. The hair worked out amazing. And I did try some new things on this statue as well, so I could get a little bit used to working with polystone a little bit more. So we'll get a little bit closer and we'll kind of go over some things here and there. So we'll start out with the head first. So as you can see, the hair came out amazing. I really wanted to try my own little different take compared to what I did last time. But I also wanted to give a little bit more of that like Superman curl on her hair, even though it's kind of like that in the artwork. But I went a little bit more extreme, and I pretty much did a little bit more flowing with the hair, tighter and shorter hair on it. The bow and I guess the head wrap came out pretty good this time. I did a lot of thinking of this, and I had a lot of reference art on my computer when I was working on her. So I kind of came up with some ideas. I looked at some reference art from like, you know, 50s, 40s, even 60s sort of like hair buns. I kind of worked it out and came up with that. So that worked out pretty well. You can see the paint work. I tried some different new paints now because Garage Kit's flesh tones are kind of gone. You don't make them anymore. So I've been trying some different stuff with flesh tones. As far as her gloves and wraps on her arms, you can see that is actually... what is it? The wrap, like if you break your arm or your finger, fiberglass wrap. So I bought a couple rolls off of Amazon for some projects, and when I was working on her, I was like, you know, I want to try something different with these wraps. I didn't want to do what I did last time where I just wrapped Dave's. So I pulled out one of the rolls. Now, sadly, once I opened up the package, the whole roll was going to go bad. But luckily, I had an item that I was working on where I could shove all that extra wrap into and fill it up. So that was a good thing. So what I did is I cut out the wrap. I cut out like little strips of the wrap, and I wrapped it around her arms. And once it cured, it's like hard as a rock now. So it worked out really, really cool. And I like the look of it. It's like kind of like, you know, she just put wraps on her arms, and it worked out pretty good. So that was kind of something different. And then the gloves, she did have gloves on her hands, so it took a little time to sort of clean up the fingers as best as I could, and I wrapped up the gloves, and I gave her some wraps there. Now, as far as her top outfit, this is where I wanted to try things a little bit different. So I've been getting better with doing the boob window now, as you can see. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do the wraps a little bit more around the skin, so where it looks like it's actually really tight and it's pushing in the skin here. So what I did is I sort of dremelled out around underneath the armpits, and when I wrapped my A's around there and I built out the skin, it looks like it's actually like the skin is being taut and it's kind of pushing over that. You can see it over here a little bit too, probably. Hopefully you can in the camera. And then when you kind of come around to her back, it's kind of hard to see under here, but it's really, really tight under her back now. So this is stuff I'm trying to like incorporate a little bit more when I do my customs. It's just that what you got to do is you can't really chop up the polystone and then like smooth it down, because if your polystone is jagged and you try to smooth it, you don't really get that good smooth feeling. So what I then tend to do now is I sort of chop it and I put eaves there, and I can sand the eaves and I can get the eaves a little bit smoother. So that worked out pretty well there. I'm pretty happy with that. And then what I wanted to do is I really wanted to practice abs a little bit more. So I re-sculpted her abs and I looked up some strong women. Now the thing is, if she wasn't hunched backwards, I could have done the abs a little bit different. But because she's kind of like, you know, she kind of pulled the abs, kind of push out. If she was kind of standing a little bit more straight, I could have did a little bit more of like the little curve from the side. But I kind of wanted to make it pop a little bit more. So that's what I did with that. Now the same thing on her like waistline with the belt. It's kind of like the skin is kind of tight here, so it's kind of like coming over the belt a bit. So those are little things I've been trying to do a little bit more with the customs. Just trying to just tweak stuff a little bit more here and there and stuff like that. And then I did the booty shorts. You know, so this is like the buttons that I use for my past Power Girl custom. So I figured since she doesn't have the brooch on her shoulder with a cape, I put it here for the belt, and I like the way that worked out. And I just kind of like it. It's like she's got that 50s like, you know, look to her, but it's kind of more modernized. So that's kind of what I wanted to go for. Kind of like a kind of what girls would kind of wear now in like a weight room, versus still trying to get that 50s feel with the hair and outfit. So that's kind of what I did. So I did a little bit of wrinkles under here with the outfit, and I brought it down. And then of course with the booty, I did the same thing where I kind of chopped out around the edges, and I kind of gave it like where it's tight around there. You can sort of see the skin sort of pops out around the edge on the booty. So that's kind of what I was doing with all that. It's just some new stuff that I'm trying, and I think it worked out pretty well. But this back here caused a lot of problems. I had to kind of like chop out some areas, resand, prime to get all this out, because she had that outfit back there, you know, even down in here. So I had to kind of take all that out. And I gave her a little bit of a booty crack compared to with the original Power Girl, but I didn't want to go too crazy with this one because I still wanted to keep it a little bit more of that, you know, 50s like Power Girl look type thing. Of course, the legs are amazing. These were really good sculpted legs. I did have a little bit issue with this one. I think because they probably casted up so many. I did have to, I think it was over here, I had to sand down a little bit in here because I think the casting was a little jagged. It seems that whenever a lot of these statues get casted up a lot, sometimes the legs kind of start getting wobbly from the molds, so you just got to kind of clean them up. I think it was a spot over here too I had to kind of clean up, but that's pretty much that. Now as far as the boots go, I really wanted to go all out with these boots. I really wanted to make these boots pop, and I wanted to take my time and really do a lot of detail. So I took her original boots. Of course, I took off the sides there, and I kind of went down. Her heels, she has like high heels, and she really shouldn't have high heels. You know, she kind of more has like, you know, I guess platform heels. I don't know. Oh, not really. It's like just smaller heels on her. So that's one thing I didn't like what Sideshow did, is they gave her those like really pointy high heels. So what I do for all my Power Girls, I sand them down. But for her, I gave her thicker ones and I sanded them down. I think that works a little bit better. And I sculpted all the shoelaces. Basically what I had to do is get a ruler and sort of like measure it on each one, make sure everything was lined up, and I kind of went, you know, I did this section first on each one, let that cure, next day sand it down, and then I did this section, and then I did the bows, and then I wrapped these wraps around afterwards, and then went from there. Now, I like the cloud base, but I didn't want her to be so high. So what my idea was, chop off that curve that makes her go so high, but keep her still floating. So she is still floating on the base, but it looks like it's kind of like floating around her. Now, of course, I had to kind of bring this up, and I curved it back behind the calf muscle. And what I did is I have a rod in there to sort of like line her up where she's going to go. And then I use Aves and I make sure she's lined up. And then after that, I start doing it. And I put magnets in there too, just to kind of give it like an extra grab. The magnets aren't going to hold her completely, but at least that rod and magnets keep her there from like, you know, wobbling too much. And I just made sure she's still floating, but not like, you know, super high where she won't fit into the thing. So, like, I think if you're ever going to do clouds, come up with an idea like this instead of having the character float so high in the air, because I don't know why Sideshow did that. Maybe because they wanted her, like, think people could put her behind their collection and she's floating back into, like, you know, like a D character or a C character or whatever. But for me, I wanted her to kind of float, but still kind of be in the clouds for this character. So that worked out pretty well. As far as paintwork, so I'm messing around with skin tones a lot now, different companies, and my Formula P3 stuff from Privateer is kind of where my skin tones are really going now, which I like them. They go on nice and smooth. The only problem is I'm starting to try other brands of transparencies. I wish Garage Kits didn't go away because I really love their skin tones and transparencies, but sadly I gotta come up with something else. But these Privateer colors are really nice out of the bottle. I'm mixing up with some other colors. I'm starting to come up with a new formula in skin tones, so it worked out pretty good. So I wanted to make a lot of the muscles pop a little bit more with some of the shading, and I'm experimenting stuff here and there. Outfit is Createx Wicked Colors White with some shading gray in there. The blue is a lot of just variations of blue and stuff, but I really wanted to make them look leathery, you know, so I did a little bit of texture on the belt. The boots sort of had the same colors, and I wanted to try to change things up. So just different variations of blue, it makes it all pop up pretty well. Now I did use the new eye decal. Okay, I forgot the name. It's Evolution X Studios eye decals. So I'm getting used to these eye decals a little bit more. So I use these down here, which I think are the 2.7 millimeter eyes or something on her. And if you cut the eye decals really well, you can get really nice eyes on your items. So that's kind of what I went with there, and I really like the way they came out. Now as far as her makeup and stuff, what I did is I tried some new stuff with some pastels. I tried some different stuff with the lips, because I didn't want her lips to be like perfect, you know, slapped on lipstick and done. So I did a lot of pastels. I did some flat varnish on it. I did some more pastels. I did a little bit of washes of paint, and I came up with some nice soft lips, but that's not like super heavy, just slapped on paint. So I'm starting to get a little bit more used to with this type of skin tone mixed in with some of the pastels and also some washes and stuff, and things are working out pretty well. I didn't go crazy with the eyelashes. Not the eyelashes, her eyebrows, because they're a little bit more of, she's blonde and stuff, so I didn't go crazy like slapping that on there as well. And as far as the hair goes, it's a blonde, sort of like, you know, dirty blonde hair. I like to give Power Girls like dirty blonde hair where it's not just like platinum blonde, but it's not like, you know, yellow blonde. So it's got like raw siennas in there, some white, some pearls, and I just kind of make it nice and shiny, but not too like just yellow out of the box, you know, bottle. And that's pretty much it. That is my Bombshell Power Girl. I really like the way she came out. I'm just so happy with this one. It just took a lot of time. I've been working on her for probably since she came out, so probably what, 2 years now, I guess. A little bit here, a little bit there. Sometimes privately, you know, take some personal days just to kind of work on a weekend. So what I'll do is I'm going to stop the video, but I'm going to get the my retro one out of my display case. We'll get the original one we had up here and her next to it, and we'll show you all side by side of all the versions of her, and just kind of close out the video from there. Alright, so you can see the setup of all three at the moment. So the one on the left, the original one, this one I'm going to be redoing again. So whenever I get a chance, I'm going to redo this one. Like I'm going to redo the brooch on her shoulder. It's going to be one of those buttons that you see on the Bombshell and the retro. I'll redo the, I like the way the cape is. I'm going to keep her as is, but I'm going to cut her down in the base like I did with the Bombshell on this one. But I think I'm going to put her on a original base like I did with the retro. I have one of these extra bases in my studio, so I'm going to have her floating above it like that. Because I want these characters to be down more. It's just, they're up so high, I didn't like it. So I'm going to keep them about this type of height. So we'll go from there. But you can see the versions. Basically, this is Sideshow's version, you know. And there's a lot of problems with it. The chest wasn't done right, and the outfit is good. It's just the booty needs to be a little bit tweaked, and then change the base. And then we have our Bombshell, and then we have our retro. The retro is has the original, well, the exclusive head, so you can sort of see how that looks. So I'm pretty happy with them so far. So now I get to put her into the case with the other statues and then just enjoy her. So these are just personal things I like to do. and you can just see the variations and how they look and all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like the Bombshell stuff? Would you like to see companies do with them more? I actually am working on one more Bombshell for myself, which is the Kid Flash Jesse Quick, I guess you can say, or just Flash. That's something else I'm working on because I always wanted the Flash one as well, but that's like way down the line. That's one of these projects that are just like a little bit here, a little bit there. But now that this one's done, I could focus on that one a little bit more, so I can have my Bombshell favorite characters. But there you go. That is the Bombshell Power Girl. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and we'll be back with some more videos.